Remember the Commonwealth Games scam? Massive financial irregularities surfaced and Congress leader Suresh Kalmari was charged with corruption. What about the Vyapam scam? It exposed large-scale fraud in competitive exams in Madhya Pradesh. Now, do you know what's common between these two scams? Both of them were exposed using RTIs. That's the Right to Information Act, a powerful tool that lets ordinary people like you and me hold those in power accountable. Now, the RTI Act was a turning point for transparency in India, something that strengthened our democracy. But now, all that's about to change.
I rise to move for leave to introduce a bill to provide for the processing of digital personal data.
The DPDP Act brought in by the Modi government has a hidden clause, one that hides behind privacy to deny citizens the access to crucial information. Let me explain. The Modi government has amended the RTI Act through Section 44(3) of the DPDP Act that's been brought in. Now, what does this do? It blocks access to anything that's being tagged as personal information. That means that the government can now deny RTIs by just calling information as personal data. Look, it's not just about catching the corrupt. RTI is also how ordinary people get access to crucial information, from welfare schemes to environmental impact assessments. Look, we do need a data protection law, but should it come at the cost of our right to ask questions? For instance, did Prime Minister Narendra Modi graduate from Delhi University in 1978, or did he get an MA from Gujarat University? This question has come up several times over the years, and many RTIs have been filed. Back in 2016, the Chief Information Commissioner, that's the CIC, cleared RTIs asking for education details. They said it does not invade privacy and serves the public interest. Sure, both universities refused to share the information and did get relief from courts. But here's the question: how did the CIC even pass that order in the first place? Now, under the new DPDP Act, the CIC could deny such requests outright. Even worse, the amendment deletes a crucial line from the RTI Act. Information that can't be denied to Parliament shouldn't be denied to the public. The new law has not yet come into effect, but that will happen when the government notifies the rules. And that could happen any day now. The government has claimed that its new amendment is meant to prevent misuse of the RTI Act and align it with the right to privacy. But what's concerning is that with the new amendment, information that was previously accessible could now be denied. For example, imagine a road is being built in your neighborhood and they're visibly doing a poor job of it. If you can't even find out who the contractor is, how do you hold them responsible for the shoddy work or siphoned off funds? It's your tax money and it's your safety at risk, but you still don't have the information to ask the right questions. Let's look at electoral bonds, for example. It might seem like a distant issue, but they decide who gets to power. How will we know if our politicians are working for us or for the donors? Let me remind you, here at the News Minute, we have consistently used the RTI Act to report on stories. You must ask yourself this: why am I not seeing more of these reports in the so-called mainstream media? Why are just a handful of smaller news organizations like the News Minute even talking about it? Because transparency affects all of us, you and me. And here's what you can do. 1, you can question this amendment. And 2, support journalism that fights for accountability and transparency. We bring you stories, but we can't do it alone. Your support is an investment in your right to know. So you know what you have to do. I tell you this every single week. If you are watching this from India, then you can scan this QR code on your screen. And if you're watching this video from abroad, then please click the link in the description to support me and my team. And as I keep reminding you, a new episode of Let Me Explain drops every Saturday. And you can write to me with your feedback, with your comments, or even suggestions for the next episode at pooja@thenewsminute.com. 120 MPs of the India bloc asked the IT Minister Ashwini Vaishnaw to roll back this amendment.
Maliciously and mischievously, the right of citizens to information has been snatched.
Vaishnaw defended it. He pointed to Section 3 of the DPDP Act to defend the amendment. The minister said the act does not stop disclosure of information that's already meant to be public under other laws. So basically, the government stand is this: if the data is meant to be out there under another law, this new law won't get in its way. On paper, that does sound reasonable. But Vaishnav's letter completely skips over the heart of the issue. The amendment shuts the door on personal information completely. It doesn't matter whether the public deserves to know or not. So while the government says, don't worry, we'll still disclose what's legally required, the fear is exactly that. What's legally required may now become less and less. It's a bit like saying that we'll change the rules of the game and then say, don't worry, we're still playing it fair. If the real goal here was to align privacy laws with the RTI Act, then there was no need to mess with the original wording of this section at all. The older version already did exactly what Supreme Court's Puttaswamy judgment had asked for. It protected privacy while still allowing access to information if it served a larger public interest. That carefully built balance has now been removed. So this isn't just about privacy, it's about control over what you are allowed to know. Remember earlier I mentioned scams uncovered through RTI? Let me tell you more. A few years ago, RTI activist Jayanti Lal Mistry asked the RBI for details on risky loans, big companies, rich defaulters. The RBI said no. Confidential, they claimed. But the Supreme Court stepped in. Transparency comes first, it said. Then the RBI had to share the names. The ruling set a precedent for financial accountability. The RBI resisted at first, but eventually it had to start revealing information on big loan defaulters. Now let's fast forward to today, and you're looking at a future where such access might be blocked again. Also, let's pause here and understand that the new law gives no exemption even to journalists. Many countries have strict privacy laws, but there is an exception given to journalists because that is in public interest. There's one more danger in the DPDP Act. The introduction of the term data fiduciary in the new law makes everything even more murkier. Anyone who collects data becomes a data fiduciary. And here too, there are no protections for journalists, activists, or even politicians. The new law says complaints won't go to a court. Instead, they go to a government-appointed data protection board. This board has the power to impose penalties of up to 250 crore rupees. And the union government can even double that amount. That's an intimidating amount of power concentrated in a body with questionable autonomy. And that's me being generous. Look, this isn't just a legal or a technical issue. It's a democratic one. Because if citizens can't even ask questions, if journalists can't investigate, and if whistleblowers are silenced by massive fines, then transparency becomes just a hollow promise. Simpreet Singh's RTI revelations exposed the Adarsh housing scam, and it led to the resignation of Maharashtra Chief Minister Ashok Chavan. He was even charge-sheeted for it. Subhash Chandra Agarwal's RTIs exposed Commonwealth Games scam and brought political parties under RTI and even made judges declare assets. Anjali Damania and Vijay Kumar exposed the Maharashtra irrigation scam through RTIs. And Anand Rai exposed the Vyapam scam even through RTI. The new act now will be a huge hit to all of them and to all of us. The government may argue that this is all about protecting privacy. But privacy and transparency are not opposite to each other. They are the twin pillars of a healthy democracy. The RTI Act as it stood recognized the balance. The DPDP Act as it stands now threatens to dismantle it. I'm going to leave it at that for this week, but before I go, 2 quick plugs. After months of work, hundreds of phone calls and ground report, I'm very happy to tell you that both parts of Auroville's story that me and my team worked on is now out. We've published it and I encourage you to sign in and read both of it. It is behind a paywall because it requires a lot of effort. But on your part, you can support such deep reportage by becoming subscribers because you'll then get access to all our paywall stories. My second plug, Power Trip, which is our weekly political newsletter, completes 100 editions this week. This is a newsletter that Shabir, Dhanya and I put together every week with a lot of effort, and we've put together 100 editions. So make sure that you become a subscriber and get access to all of them.